Oh yes, the Nintendo Game & Watch. Before your Game Boys and cellular telephones, we had these thingies. Made with high-end 1980s digital watch technology, these devices could only play one primitive LCD game per system. Imagine the pixels on a TV, but they're just black, and they're shaped like people and numbers and other stuff, and there are also like 30 of them in the whole screen. Sometimes they draw static images on the screen, but those are permanent. There are gold, silver, widescreen, multi-screen, etc. versions of the Game & Watch. But overall, they're all pretty basic. But since most of these are pre-NES and pre-Super Mario, so one of these main characters are from the Donkey Kong series. So today, we're going to take a look at the Game & Watch Donkey Kong series, and not the modern versions from the Gallery games. First up is the original Donkey Kong, which I'm playing on Game & Watch Gallery 2 because for some reason my camera won't focus on the better looking Game & Watch Gallery 4. You're not missing much. It looks about the same, but the colors are more accurate to the real thing. They play the same. You may notice that there's a little screen and a big screen that keeps switching. That's because this was made for the Game Boy Color, and the real version had two screens, like a DS. While the Game Boy Color has just one. All you've got to do is push the B to change the screens, so it works fine. I should also mention that this is the first ever game with a D-pad. You know, that useless cross thingy that you use in your newfangled video games? You just use the stick? The game plays fine, and the movement is really choppy because it's a Game & Watch game, and because of that, there's just one level. But it does have a lot of components to it. For instance, in order to get to beat Donkey Kong, you have to get to the top while jumping over the barrels, but not under these moving bars, climbing ladders, but not under these moving bars. And once you're up there, you gotta avoid the more barrels, and then flip one switch, and you gotta time your jump just right on this crane, and then play 3 more times. And then you kill Donkey Kong and save Pauline. And that's it. Just keep doing that. Next, we have 2 games. Donkey Kong Jr. and Donkey Kong 2. They both star Donkey Kong Jr. They both have the same concept, but they're 2 different takes on it. That being the arcade game Donkey Kong Jr. as a Game & Watch unit. Both games are among the best Game & Watch games I've played, but we'll talk about the more popular Junior version first. For this game, we will be using the DSiWare version, because it's emulated the best and also looks the best. The Gallery 3 version is pixelated and stretched, and the Gallery 4 version is pixelated. No, not stretched though. It's not stretched. Anyways, unlike the first game, it only takes place on one screen, and for being based on off a game where it's 90% climbing, there's just one area where you can climb, but there are plenty of vines to just hang on. There's also a fruit that you could drop on the enemy birds and crocodiles to score points. The level is pretty much the same as the first game, but here you don't have to flip a lever to get the key swinging, and it never stops, so I'd call it an improvement. Actually, the whole game is much better. It's a lot simpler and more addicting, but is it the best version of Donkey Kong Jr. on the Game & Watch?
I don't think so.
That wasn't in the script. Donkey Kong 2 is Donkey Kong Jr., done in the style of the first Donkey Kong on Game & Watch. It's much more like the arcade, specifically the 3rd and 4th levels. Those are the levels, you know, the ones where there's the electrics and the keys and the ropes that you climb. It's much more complex than its more popular counterpart. Here's how you play it. First, you climb up from the bottom, where the life counter is. You jump up and grab this key and throw it up to the top screen for some reason. First, you avoid these crocodile guys while not jumping under the sparks. Then you climb up and avoid more sparks. Then, on the top screen, you throw the key to a random block, which you then climb up to and push in while avoiding more crocodiles and birds. Instead of getting teleported like in the other games, you have to climb down to grab the next key. Do it until you unlock everything, and then you catch a big DK like in the end of the arcade game, and then rinse and repeat. It's a much better game in my opinion than the other Donkey Kong Jr., and it's much more like the arcade, which I don't like as much as either of them, but both are worth checking out. 2 is much harder to find, but both are on Game & Watch Gallery 3. You can also get Junior on, you can get it on, DSiWare, and also the 3DS, because the DSi shop is closed. You can get it on, there's a website that's on, I'll link it in the description. The first Donkey Kong game's on there too. I'll link that. I should also mention a third version of Donkey Kong Jr., which was a color tabletop game. I have no way of playing it for you, but I'll leave a link down below to a re-res video on it. Actually, the tabletop version of the first game exists, but it's not technically a Game & Watch, because, you know, there's no watch. There's no watch in it. Next up is Donkey Kong 3, based off of the widely unpopular arcade game of the same name, which you should check out, by the way. It's pretty good. Donkey Kong 3 stars this guy named Stanley the Exterminator, whose debut was actually in the excellent Game & Watch Greenhouse. This game is less than excellent. This was originally a 2-player versus system with mini controllers. It uses link cable support for 2-player, but I'll just be playing 1-player. Here's my reaction live from recording. Hey guys, we're going off the script for a second. I just need to tell you about this horrible thing. Donkey Kong 3, based off of the wretched arcade game. This is the Game & Watch version, and you play as this bug dude named Stanley. He's from Greenhouse, but he got a name. He was in Donkey Kong 3 as well. But what you gotta do is keep filling up your flood pack, well, your sprayer jet thing, with water and spray bugs at Donkey Kong. But it's horrible, and it's so hard to do. Like, it's too bad. Honestly, I hate this game. I can't figure it out. Can't figure out how to get it to, work properly. At least it, kind of works. The modern version doesn't work, but we're not covering modern in this. Excuse Molly, she's doing something. Yeah, but what you're supposed to do is, spray these bugs. I don't get it. I guess this was one of those micro versus systems, so they had little controllers you could pull out and play with other people, I guess. But yeah, I guess you're supposed to just aim for the one you want, hope the other one doesn't get in your way, and just hope for the best. So let's just hope we can kill Donkey Kong today. Uh-oh, I died. So that's what happens when you die. So yeah, it's pretty awful. At least 1 player. I'd have no way of knowing 2-player. The next 2 I can't play, but I can view them in the gallery on Game & Watch Gallery 3. Donkey Kong Hockey is another versus system, and Donkey Kong Circus is in color, where you juggle stuff and avoid being burned. I guess it comes between Donkey Kong Jr. Maybe it's just a prequel to the first Donkey Kong. Whatever it is, it's probably a little like Chef, from what I can tell. That's a Game & Watch game. Yeah, I think that's it. If I were to put them in any order of best to least, I would do Donkey Kong 2, followed by Junior, then Donkey Kong, and then Donkey Kong 3.